Okay, I'm wiring up the things that I do have under the dash. So far, just some simple things like, oh, let me turn the light on. That's better. Okay, so wiring up some of the things I do have under the dash. So some of the simple things like, just got this ground here. This is the dash ground, so that's already labeled. I ran some cables over this way. Haven't gotten those wired up, but I did get up there the blower motor and let's see. Oh, and I got the. See if I can get a picture of this.
Can we start it?
No, not yet.
Oh.
Okay, some more of the stuff that I do have here. So the brake switch. See those two wires right there hooked up to it. It's kind of not focusing on it, but it's those two. And then the wiper motor. Let's see if I can get that. Oh, I'll just come up this way because I think that'll be easier. So, oops. So the wiper motor, there's a plug there. Basically the motor had a plug already, and then the book was pretty good, showed you which one goes where. And then on the other side, I'm gonna have to plug into the wiper switch that'll be right here. And then down below there's another deal that is supposed to be by the dimmer switch, but it doesn't look like I have one, so it says you have to bypass that by tying two black wires together, so I'll have to find those. But right now I'm just hooking up the ignition. I got the old ignition switch out, putting in the new one, so I'm just wiring those up, and then I'll probably get some other things hooked up if I find them. Things like I got the heater controls over here, so I'll probably hook some of those up. And then, yeah, so just little things, less wires that I have hanging out here, the less things I have to do in the future. So you can see that Painless does a pretty good job of labeling stuff and then giving you instructions. So pretty obvious. This is the black ground that's hooks to this centerpiece here. They provided this ignition, so this is part of their kit. And then if you look, this is the diagram of it, and you can see the top is this this guy here where it's labeled top, and then if you look at it this way, that's going to be the top right here. And so I'm just going to match the wire colors based on that diagram and hook it up. So one of the things you want to be constantly conscious of when you're doing this is the routing of these cables. So for instance, I'm going to be dropping this down to our ignition right here, and so when I do that, I'm looking to see what else is kind of tied in with it. So right here I have these two purple cables, which those are labeled brake something. I'll have to look into what those are. And then this right here is the cigarette lighter. So that's going to go into where this ashtray is right here. So I want to kind of route at least this blue cable with it. If not, that purple probably goes with it somewhere. I'm not sure yet. Looks like it says brake warning. So that might, let's see. I have to dig into that one. But what I can do is I'm going to just go ahead and drop those down this way. Let's see where I'm going. And instead of trying to go around this guy on the outside, I'm going to go kind of in between there. And that'll give me a lot more play on those cables. I'm going to go ahead and route that, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, you can see I got this in here now. Went ahead and put the face on there, and now I just need to get the tumbler that's going to go in there, and or the ignition key and everything. And then those other cables, so it looked like this one kind of sits out in front, so I left that out in front. I'm still not 100% sure what that was, but then the cigarette lighter I ran down this way and then through the cigarette lighter hole, so it's just going to sit there until I get the that unit in there. So I was getting ready to wire up the headlight switch and pulled that out of there. Pretty simple. I mean, there's a button on the back of here. You pull the headlight switch out, you hold this button, and then you can continue to pull it out. And then once you have that out, you can unscrew it right at the front with a flathead screwdriver. There's other videos I'm sure you'll be able to find on that. But what I found when I pulled that out, and this might be loud, so I'll talk loud, was that this looked like garbage along with this. So I went ahead and ordered replacements of those. I'm gonna go ahead and wire this guy up and set it in there, and then we'll be ready to screw those in once I get them back. One of the things I say on my videos is I like people to learn from my mistakes. So I was talking about earlier routing and making sure you route things cleanly over here, and I totally missed it. I routed, I don't know if you can see that black cable in between these. That black cable goes up to this ground, and now I can't kind of push this down into where the headlights go down here. So I'm gonna pull this black cable off, route it, and then over the top, and then plug it back in. All right, so you can see I reran that cable up above the thing, the light switch, and I was able to route that down where it belongs, right here. So now I just got to get the front part, which I've ordered, and put that back in, and then I got some tumbler coming on the way, and I went ahead and ordered the keys for the doors and trunk as well. So that's all on the way. Yeah, I think the only thing I have left that I can wire up is probably the heater AC, which I'm going to wait on because I want to get some stuff on. That box is kind of a mess over here, so I need to get some stuff for that. So I'm going to wait on that, and hopefully some parts come soon and I'll have some more work to do. Coming back to the wiper motor, these wires come down from the left side here toward the driver's side kick panel, and I think this other set is for the dimmer switch right here. This little set right here is for what's called a coordination switch, and that coordination switch is basically when you use if you have the motor to pump the washer fluid onto your windshield, it will run the wipers at the same time. This is this model, or this car that got the old manual pump. So like basically I just like I don't know if you can see this guy here. If you push that down with your foot, it literally pushes a manual pump, so you'd have to pump it. So there's no coordination switch on this one, and Painless actually accommodates for that. In the instructions, they tell you to take these two black wires and then jumper those together. There's not like a jumper in their kit, so what I'm gonna have to do is cut those off and then just put like a butt-in connector like that on there, and then the red and white cables won't be used, so we don't need to worry about those. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut those and jumper them, and then I'll kind of tuck these away. Okay, I got that jumpered. So just basically ran a butt connector on there. You know, I just cut the little ends off that was on there. They had the little flat ends, and then I stripped it back with my wire stripper, and then used my crimpers to crimp that on there. Pretty straightforward. I mean, if you're doing this kind of cabling, if you're putting in a painless harness, I hope you know how to do those things. And then what I'm going to do is I cut there was a zip tie right here. I cut that off to give myself a little more room to work. I think I'm going to cut this guy off, and then I'm going to take these 4 wires and tuck them away because I don't really want them hanging down here and down by the dimmer switch. So I'll get those cleaned up and out of the way. Okay, so I just took those and I'm trying to point to them, but you can see there, took those and ran them up and over back behind this little piece here. You know, I have pretty full access to everything right now with all the parts out of my dash, so makes it easy. That should stay there. Might actually, after I get everything ready, everything hooked up and everything, I'm gonna probably zip tie it to that little clip just so it stays in there and doesn't move. But for right now, that's out of the way. All right, got my dimmer switch, and so basically you have B positive, which is 907, labeled 907, goes to this center terminal, and then these other two can go to either side, so there's no preference on that one. So I'm just going to go whichever side is easier. And that's wired up, and now I just got to mount it after I get the carpet in.